All right, this is a demonstration of how to use a lacrosse ball in your psoas. So you're gonna take this lacrosse ball and you're gonna find about 1 inch outside of your belly button. So you can go all the way up to the ribs or about down to where your hip bone is. And at the hip bone, you can actually start kind of jaying out towards the hip joint itself, okay? So I'm gonna let Dominique take this. She's gonna put that ball about 1 inch out from her belly. Go ahead and lay down. And you'll roll back and forth, up and down on the mat there. Good, until you find a tender spot. Once you find that tender spot, lower your body down. Good, arms can be sort of there or bent elbows coming back a little bit here. Yep, good. So that you can actually use those arms to lift the chest and reach the ribs forward. So you're trying to create length between ribs and hips here. You feel that increase in intensity? Good. And then you'll hold that there for 3 to 5 seconds and lower it down. Or you can just flow back and forth through it if it's pretty intense, okay? So that's one movement option. The other movement option is to lift the leg. So that can be the same leg on the same side or the leg on the opposite side. Go ahead and lift the leg straight into the air. Good. And then do the same here. Good. You might notice that the tension under the lacrosse ball changes a ton when you lift the same side and not so much when you lift the other side, or vice versa. Or maybe you notice that it changes in both. Anytime that the tension underneath the lacrosse ball is changing, that means it's a good spot. It's important for, or it's affecting movement that you're doing elsewhere in your body. If you're doing really well with that and it's improving and it's not so tender there anymore after you do this daily, you can add chest and leg simultaneously. Good. Go ahead. Good. Some common mistakes that we'll see with this, instead of reaching the chest forward, sometimes we'll see people kind of crease at the back and really just lift off of the ball. When you go here, you're taking the pressure off of the ball, so you're likely not feeling a whole lot in that psoas. So if, as you're doing this, go ahead and lower back down. If as you're doing your extensions in your upper body, you feel like lifting up decreases the tension on the ball, then you're going to want to keep the body lower and think to reach more with the chest. Lovely. Good. One of the common mistakes that we'll see with the leg is some hip rolling. So if you go to lift that leg and you open your hip up, you will again take pressure off of that ball and you will not be lengthening that muscle in that case. So you want to make sure those hip bones stay attached to the mat or the ground, whatever surface you are on, and lift that leg from the tush. Perfect. Good. One last common mistake I will point out is using your head to lift the leg. So Dominique did that a little bit in this last one, but go ahead and exaggerate it here, where she's really working here to lift this leg in the air. If you're doing these separately, the head should just stay relaxed. So if you find that you're feeling tension behind the head, you can take your hands and put them over one another underneath your forehead. Yes, so that you're just rested there, and now your head stays rested as you lift that leg again. Good. There you go. Good. So you'll work that spot for 30 seconds to a minute, or until it starts to calm down. When it starts to calm down, you can move on to another place. Anywhere along that line, again, up to ribs, about down to hip, is fair game. And that's how you work your psoas.